sunshine. Ooh, blessings, blessings, blessings. Boom, baby, boom. Rise and shine. It's your morning motivation time. Most is Marky saying every morning I get up and I'm blessed to be alive, and today isn't like any other day. I get to live my full potential just like you, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check out this view and go over something that I read in this book called Mindset and digest it for the morning motivation, because that's what my show's about. My show's about sharing my journey with fixing my mindset and see if that allows other people to fix theirs as well. Let's get into it, shall we? It's nice and warm in this beautiful view. I'll show you. Got a little sunshine. There's no kids to stay off at school. These guys are busting their ass to finish this building next to us. It's almost done. And as you can see, they're kicking ass and taking names. I love what they did here in the street. It's fucking mint. And the guy that was making construction, he stopped doing it as soon as I opened the window. And that's what I'm talking about this morning, is opening the windows to our minds. I'm doing it from my homie's house out here through the blinds. You see the blinds. It's one of those things that I didn't want to be, was blind. I didn't want to be blind. Who wants a blind spot? Who wants to miss things? Who wants to get into car accidents? And then who was the type of person with this fixed mindset that believes that they are at fault and they personalize it, or they go be the opposite route when they try to see that it's part of growth and that this is all part of us learning a lesson, and we don't make it less about the person and more about how we as a person can use that new information and that new experience to become a better person. And this mindset book was just tripping me out, because most of it was, going on and on about business and corporations and how certain CEOs have certain leadership style. And that's what I was really reading it. I was reading it because it's all about leadership. It's all about how you micromanage or macro manage, or what's your kind of leadership style like? Are you the type of person to shift blame? Are you the type of person to shift experience? And a tough thing for me as a person that always thought I was a leader, if I was to be measured by, say, my siblings or my relationships or the outcomes in business, all of a sudden I wasn't as good of a leader as I thought I was, right? All of a sudden there was a guy that could lose his mood, lose his attitude, and become combustible. And when I'm looking at the book and I don't want to have a fixed mentality, right? When I don't want to have the assumptions that things are exactly the way that I perceive them and no way else can they be any way else, I tend to trap myself. I tend to trap myself in a more beat up session. And I'm going to talk with some of my friends, some of my other friends that I've been talking to, when they don't feel like a man, or they don't feel like they've done their job as a man, then all of a sudden they're very hypercritical of themselves. It's like you'll never measure up. It's almost like you never look right to your parents, or in your parents' eyes, you end up being a little bit dysfunctional, a little bit less than what your full potential could be. And in that light, we end up beating ourselves up, and it's not really an education. Of course, experience is the best teacher, but it's not a learning a new character trait or style or approach. And one of the things that I want the most is to get the best out of myself or my friends, my relationships. And that requires me not to be so critical. It requires me having a different approach to situations if I have the opportunity, instead of shifting the blame. This book, she makes let me read some of it. I saved some of the parts for it that made a pretty good analogy, especially us as children. Let me see in this book. She said something about like dropping ice cream on your shoe and blaming it on your friend. Let me see. Dropping ice cream on your shoe. No. One of the things was really cool was that this chick
had a when she was a kid. Here it is. I remember when we were kids and did something dumb like drop our ice cream cone on our foot. We turn to our friend and say, "Look what you made me do." Blame may make you feel less foolish, but you still have a shoe full of ice cream. And a friend who's on the defensive. So you made two mistakes. In a relationship, the growth mindset sets lets you rise above blame, understand the problem, and try to fix it together. And I kept this part in my Rolodex because a lot of people aren't trying to fix anything together. They rather let the problem exist than to fix. And I was shocked by this. This one woman said, especially if you're grumpy, but if you're bitter, if you've been around somebody and you want them to hurt as much as you, or what the woman said, this was shocking to me. She said, if it came to the difference between my happiness and his misery, I want him to be miserable. And I just thought that was so shocking. I hear it all the time here in Finland that they say they're so jealous that they'd rather not get 100 euros if it meant their neighbor got 50 euros. Like they can't let someone one up them. And as we were driving back from the cabin, my buddy was like, "You see all this? Everybody has their own equipment. They don't share equipment. They're not like what do you call those guys? Pilgrim? Not pilgrim. What are the people that used to be in the country? Quakers, if you will. They're not. What do they call them? When they pull the buggy and the horse, what is that called? Fuck, man, there's a term for that. Come on, stoner thoughts. Come on, stoner thoughts. When you are, well, Amish. If you were Amish, you share your tools, you share your knowledge, and most people in the whole community help raise the child. If there's this situation, now when we get like hyper independent, what happens is we put the burden squarely on ourselves and we forget about teamwork. We literally fix our mindset that the magic has to come from us. And only when the magic comes from us do we have any value. And we don't want to give away our secrets. It's almost like being one of the people. There's like two people in the world that know where Coca-Cola's recipe is. It's one of those situations where maybe that's all you want. Maybe all you want is to be the only person that knows the Coca-Cola recipe, and that keeps you at a certain hierarchy. And if you make someone else feel dumb, then you feel less dumb, and then you get some kind of superiority. It's all in the book, and you can read it too, but it's true. That's what we do. We try to push blame, shift energies, and push it upon other people instead of becoming the type of person that can open their mindset and go, how do I fix the topic? And that's one of my favorite phrases from traveling over in Turkey with my friend Mahir. I don't know if we're friends anymore, but I left him a voicemail, and we'll see if we communicate as men. Like a couple days ago, I pretty much had a breakthrough and just kind of contacted a bunch of people, especially after reading this book every morning, doing my push-ups, brushing my teeth with my left hand, doing 25 deep exaggerated breaths, and telling myself I love myself 10 times in the mirror face to face. I came to a realization that I'm not Mr. Perfect, okay? I got the shirt, but you can wear a shirt, but can you wear the character? And that's what I had to learn, is I was not letting my character be what I really can possibly be. Let me get this going. And I had to learn real quickly that I wasn't a fixed mindset. I was the type of person that looked for what was wrong instead of where my solutions were. And that's a mistake that I made multiple times, and I'm not proud to say that it's been me, but in my superiority, I only wanted the magic to come from me. That if I was around, I was a help, and that people couldn't fix the topic without me and my intelligence or my charm. And the truth is that if I was a really good teacher, I'd be able to explain it to somebody, and they would be able to do it without me, and I would be okay with that. I'm learning. And I'm learning to fix my mindset. I'm learning to fix my own mind and not sit in a place where I stay just in my mind, and I let the phone dictate my dopamine levels, and I let the blue light on my eyes instead of the sunlight on my eyes. Instead, I wake up in the morning and I open the windows and I open the blinds. I don't even check my phone first. And I make sure that I get there, and every time I brush my teeth, I'm rewiring my brain with my left hand. And the I love yous are so important because the amount of things that I was telling myself that I was doing wrong were outnumbering the I love yous that I was telling myself. So one of the things was to tell myself I love you, but not just I love you, but I love your hair, I love your beard, I love your friends, I love your skin, like these kind of things, you know? I love your muscles, I love your body, I love your health, I love your life. And what I was talking with my friend last night, we kind of had a breakthrough in our friendship, was to talk about this. It was tough for us because, you know, without alcohol, he kind of shuts down and doesn't want to say much at all. But this time he was well buzzed and he kind of wanted to let it all out. And then we had a good conversation that I needed to have. He said, I wasn't there for you when you lost your baby, and that hurts me. And I said, yeah, but that's not your responsibility, bro. And we haven't talked in 2 years. For me to keep that kind of anger or even have that kind of thought would waste the next 2 years. Can you imagine matching the same might and fight and the wrong and double wrong yourself and come up with more ways that it's all this person's fault, and never taking a character test on yourself and say, how can I fix the topic? How can I become a better lover? How can I become a better friend? How can I become a better human? And what went wrong in these things? We're very critical. We can't wait to point out someone's red flags, but we don't know our own red flags. And it seems like all the red flags are like a skier. They're just hitting your helmet and you just want to fucking keep skiing and ignore it, when they're just slapping you right upside the head and you know it. And that's when I started to go, okay, how do I fix my leadership skills? How do I become a better leader so I don't just come up with these issues any longer? And it takes a lot of not shifting blame, not being so critical, and also what I really tuned in on is teamwork. You know, working as a team, being able to get a team to function is a coach's job. And if I was ever to be a good teacher, it wasn't just about crowd control. It was also about encouragement, and it was also about being as happy that the person gets what's going on as they are. You know, I think we become very desensitized that way. We sit there and we don't want to give up the glory. We want the story to say our name, and we don't want to have any co-producers. We don't want to have any executive producers. We don't want to put anyone else's name on it unless they're cutting a check. And even then, we might even not give them the credit, or even our enemies the credit for being that lesson that we needed in life. And it's like we get more burnt. You know, our friendships aren't the same, or someone's assuming the blame, or someone's feeling extra, I don't know, responsible or accountable, where the other person might not even take any accountability at all. It's tough. Relationships are tough. Everywhere you go, it's more than just friendships. It's also relationships. It's also interpersonal. And it's one of those things that you work on it inside yourself, you work on it with other people, and you work on it in every interaction that you come in contact with. It's not going to just be robots and machines. You're going to have to see strangers. You're going to have to negotiate with randoms, and you're also going to have to figure out how to get the best out of people. Just now, I came up from the stairs, and the chick opened the door, and I was like, thank you. And she didn't even look at me. She was just quite rude. And I was just like, wow, I could hold that as a responsibility. I could assume some of that bullshit. But I was like, that's her. How her day's going. She has to walk through life with the resting bitch face. She has to walk through life not acknowledging other humans, and I'm sure the burden is on her. You know what I mean? Like, you can see people wear burdens. You can see people hold things, and you can almost see the people that do that. They self-abuse, and and they lose time. That's what me and my friend kept talking about last night. It's like, how much time do we have to travel? How much time do we have to fix these relationships? How much time has been wasted on like blaming our parents? And what was cool about this book is she was saying with her, she wanted a relationship with her mom. She felt like her mom never loved her, and instead of begging her mom for attention or trying to get back, she refused to do that. But she also started to realize that she was half of the story. She was the other half of the situation where she had her road to drive, and how she would drive it. And that's what really kind of dawned on me at this weekend in the cabin was, how positive my friends are, and how they refuse to lose, and how they get up every morning early and keep fighting, and that keep fighting spirit is somewhere there where they're like, yeah, sure, that happened to you, but keep fighting. And it gets kind of redundant for most of us. We'll get burnt down, right? Like we'll say life won, I give up, I can't beat my drinking habit, I can't get any good relationships, I can't make any money, and we resign ourselves to the fact that we don't want to move any of our mindset, that we don't want to try a different approach or maybe learn from a different person. And that's what it really comes down to. Check this out, it's so fucking cool. I love construction, I love watching this shit. And that's what I really started to tune in on. I started to tune in on, how do I fix myself in a better mindset than stay in a fixed mindset that's not working any longer. And that's what I really started to dawn in on. I was like, I can do this better. I can do this life game better. And that's what I really wanted to tune in to people is, give yourself an opportunity to see your mind as a book that's still learning. Most of us have processed our emotions and been set on that. Right? We get into, this is how I walk into the world. I put on my resting bitch face. I don't talk to anybody. I put my headphones on and I shut the world out. Well, the world can't be shut out. Eventually, you're going to have to bump into your Uber driver. You're going to have to hire somebody. You're going to have to fire somebody. Something's going to have to give. And it's probably in your most interpersonal relationships. As you're like constantly negotiating with our parents. We're learning how to manipulate other human beings through our siblings. We're being crafty, we're being snide, we're being cheeky all the time. Best believe I think I said the average human tells 9 lies a day. The average human, and that's like, you can be still a good human and still lie, not only to others but to yourself. And then you're negotiating your personality with your interpersonal circle, and then those people are actually adapting to you as well. There are people that have put up with you, there are people that have raised you, there are people that are still your people, and at the same time you are still a flawed individual, and you still have red flags, and you still have things to work on. Welcome to the human race. Okay, welcome to this thing, and it is a race. It's a race, not just to a finish line, but the way you do race. Do you navigate these red flags, and do you learn from the red flags? Do you get around your cones, and do you make it to the end of the hill? And as I dawn on my existence as a human being, that I might come to the end of my hill, that I've already peaked, and that this is the other half of my life, like how the quality of life that I live and the depth of happy that I let sink in was something that I was really concentrating on. It was something that I was really trying to tune in and go, what is my impact on the world and the planet? How do I repay my friends, especially for all their generosity like they showed me this weekend, and just yesterday getting to hang out with the boys, and I've been eating like a fucking king. This has been the best steaks and burgers and friends I've had in a long time. This is the healing that I've been seeking. And in it, I see friends that have flawed relationships too. Some are being broken up, some are married, some have kids, some don't, some do drugs, some don't, some drink, some fucking, the whole gamut is the same thing I was learning when I first traveled the world about 10 years ago, when I was first here, learning that these people are the same as us, man. Like I expected, I don't know, aliens or something. They kind of look like aliens. Some of them are really tall, some have weird faces, they're very pale, you know, my Finland aliens. But like at the same time, I'm looking at it and I'm like, they're still human. What are we talking about? We talk about our families, we talk about our jobs, we talk about our friendships, we talk about our dramas, we talk about our money issues. It wasn't like there was new subject matter, like for real. It's like it's the same shit, different toilet. And that really dawned on me. Is like, you know, in the human experience, when I was talking with my friend last night, I said, you know, they don't prepare you for this because both of us had lost businesses. It's like they don't prepare you for bankruptcy, the loss of a business, and the way people treat you and the relationship strain. Like he's not even talking to his dad, and you could tell it hurt his feelings that he's not talking with this man that he was so close with, that he bought a whole trip to fucking Thailand and got his dad to see the clearest water he ever saw in his life, and it almost made him cry. And now he's not talking to his dad at all. That's a bit of a shame. You know, that's a lot of shame and guilt and blame that we shift through people in our relationships. And then once we've assessed punishment, just like capital punishment, it's off with their heads. And like the girl said, I'd much rather him be what do you call it, hurt. She's like, as long as he was hurting, I was okay with giving up my happy. And wow, what a perspective. You know, like communism, it's like, as long as we have equality, let's kill 50 million people, you know, our own people. And you're just like, bro, come on, man. There's got to be a better way of looking at things. There's got to be a better way to approach people. And there's got to be a better way to see life. And that's what I've really dawned on me is, you know, I'm doing some really epic things. I'm in the furthest north I've ever been. You know, this is Vanta in Tikarila. I've been here many times. This is like my second home. But to go far north where there was nothing but us and moose, and to see the stars, and to be a naked human being and jump in the cold water and shock your system and sit in saunas naked and be hearing different music and hear different languages. And I'm like, how do I let this sink in? How do I let life heal me? You know, how do I fix my mindset to be better at enjoying and not judging and not hurting and not hanging on to things that don't glorify my life, that don't make me shine? And as I was looking at the shine, you know, it's one of those things that we as people, we forget how much power we have over our thoughts and our actions and our behaviors, and also our punishment style. You know, it's like, do you just beat yourself up? When's the last time you loved on yourself? And I don't mean just buy something, but actually love on yourself and have conversations with yourself and go, what is my impact on the world, and what am I doing with my life, and all these other motherfucking things. And that is where I started to go on this journey. At the end of the earth is where I'm leaving this pain. At the end of the earth is where I'm traveling. These friends are helping me out. I'm getting to Thailand because of the kindness of my friend, and it's so nice because it's a repayment indeed. He showed up. I never met him before. Little did I know I would need him later, you know, and he did. He hooked me up with some food. He fed me fucking like a king. The place was immaculate. We cleaned it all up. Hold on. We cleaned it all up. Everything was super fucking mint. We winterized it. We put away the fucking lawnmowers. We covered the wood. We split the wood. We fucking did a hard day's work. We worked together. Nobody complained. Nobody bossed anybody around. We worked great together. People took breaks. People had laughters. We almost hit each other a couple times with some logs. You know, it's real work and it's real teamwork. And that's what I started to learn, is I can work better as a team, and I know how to be a hard worker. I know how to give. You know, I don't just take. You're not just feeding me. Let's do some work. Let's earn our keep and earn our mindsets, right? To be that type of person that's not just sitting like a bump on a log, but gets active and participates. And I was so grateful to have such a clean house after, at a beautiful Zada. beautiful nature, and it healed me, it calmed me. It took me to a place where I felt my humanness and all my flaws and all my mistakes. I earned them. The lesson had to be learned, and I paid with it in spades, and I continue to learn. I'm back to reading books. Um, that's awesome. I'm asking for suggestions of books if you don't mind commenting below. And I love self-help books. I've always digested self-help books. I thought I was already self-helped, but I need more help, and I'm okay with needing help. I'm okay with asking for help. You know, I get by with a little help from my friends, and I also help them too. It's not just them healing me, it's also me healing them, and them honored that a person from Las Vegas come to their cabin. I'm not like probably the only person from America to be in their cabin and write in their book and write in the date when I was there and my experience there and how grateful I was to have that place. Man, we were glamping, bro. We had air conditioners, fans, PlayStations, flat screen TVs, Netflix, warm stove, multiple stoves, endless wood, endless food, endless laughter. It was a fucking joyous time. And now that I get to sit here and digest it and sit in the sun and warm my soul and watch these kids play and their laughter, and remember that I also am somewhere. I'm a kid that got to enjoy chopping wood and hard work, and also talk about business and fucking, you know, being a proactive person, and listening to my friends' advice, and listening to their lives, and listening. You know, that's what I'm doing when I'm reading. I'm listening to the words of somebody else that did the research, and improving my knowledge to see my brain in a different way, and to see how I can fix my mind instead of being stuck on stupid and stuck on stubborn. And I call it stupid stubborn because it's just stupid to double down on something that's not working when you can learn a new way to make it work. And that's what I really started to get. I started to get for myself was a new way to work my mind, and new approaches to people, and a new approach to life, that I am living a blessed life. I know that I'm traveling the world and seeing new sites and buildings, and the way things are built, and I love watching construction and all the production and the eventuality of things coming together. They just fixed all of the porches and put in the lights, and I know they're about to be done in less than a month here, at least the road in these areas. And I'm going to be in Thailand in a month as I sit with my Thailand shirt and bright color shirts and warm weather and oceans. I said, what am I doing there? You know, what am I doing here? I'm healing myself. What am I doing there? I'm healing myself. But I also have business ventures, doing the Mike Tyson papers, and how have I been doing with that, and how have I doing with sales and getting my phone back on, and fixing my empire, and how many websites have gone by the wayside that I still want, how much do they really cost me, and am I the type of person to repay my friends? Can I read them? Can I be of help to them? Can I repay them? And that's really what it came down to, is living a quality of life. We talked about it. Even with all the money, I'd still be doing the same thing with the same friends. We might have imported some big titty girls with some sushi. That's just us, and that's just me. But you know, other than that, it was perfect. And that's what life's about. It's about awesome. It's about finding the awesome in the daily things, getting that gratitude journal out, and literally taking account. Let's say take account. You want to take account for what's working and what's not working, and what we can do as people to be better people. So it's like you're already a better person when you start loving yourself. You're already a better person when you start listening, and you also start being a better person when you start getting gratitude just for the little things. I mean, the big things: a roof over my head, a clean house to live in, good friends to be around, and that attitude has helped me tremendously. You know, being around the boys and still seeing the light of life and the kids, and how much fun they had with the marshmallows, and pointing at everything. Marco, look at this, look at that. You know, that's what we need to do. We need to look at this, we need to look at that. We need to look at all things and examine things with a childlike curiosity that, you know, there is hope and optimism. It doesn't have to be the same. We don't have to wear that face. We don't have to walk in the world that way. And that's my morning motivation in the sunlight of Finland.
being able to just digest the sun and get my vitamin D on and heal myself and fix my mindset. And that's what we do around here at Saints Addiction. We work on these flaws. We're not perfect at all. Mr. Perfect is not perfect. No one is perfect around here. And the book is Mindset, and it's Carol Dweck, and she's smart, PhD. I just saw that, and the new Psychology of Success, and seeing how some people succeed and how some bright lights go out really fast, but they do it disingenuously. And then there's people that work as a team, and they go longer and further, kind of like the tortoise and the hare. So, little Aesop's Fables for those that haven't known. Go check them out. Aesop Fables, definitely one of my Saints Addictions. And as always, peace and love and Chigatan. That means goodbye but not forever in Finnish. And I will see you on the other side. As soon as you like, share, and subscribe, comment below how do you heal yourself and what kind of book do you think I should read next. Ciao.